how many takes will this be today? Let's get ourselves organized and stretch out before our recording. Hello everyone and welcome. It is so great to have you here to visit with me today and chat about all things knitting. Oh, well, some things knitting. Anyway, I hope you've been well since I spoke with you last time. And if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm glad you found us. My name is Jess, and I'm coming to you from the Tampa Bay area of southwestern Florida. It is September, what is today? Let's see, 22nd, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It is the 25th, if I did my math correctly today. It is September 25th, 2025. At least it's Thursday of the week of September 22nd. So it is officially fall or autumn, depending on where you are in the world, up here in the Northern Hemisphere. And happy spring to all of you in the Southern Hemisphere. Are you getting spring fever and wanting to cast on all the lighter garments, or do you still want your sweaters and that cozy knitting? I'm definitely into the cozy knitting season, although looking at my windows right now, we're getting a bit more of our normal fall-like weather. So the windows are getting condensation. So anyway, we'll come back to all these things later. Welcome. You will find everything that is related to what I talk about today in the description box. And my contact information, I'm Jess S. Makes on Instagram and also on Ravelry. Just get rid of the dots for the Ravelry and it's the same name. And I believe this is episode 30. If not, you'll see it up here on the screen. So anyway, welcome, and thanks for joining me. Grab your projects, whatever it is you're crafting on, and come hang out with me for a little bit. It has been a while for me since recording. It's a bit of a tough time right now in our household. I'll say kind of life update stuff for the end. So in case you're absolutely not interested, then you can just leave at that moment. You can also leave it anytime you like, right? It's the wonder of video. You will find in the description box timestamps, or at least they should be there, for the different parts of the episode. So I do the standard format, except for the what am I wearing? I have no knitwear. Been over this before. It's hot and humid, hurricane season, so t-shirt. But I do have some finished objects, some updates on some works in progress, and I'm not sure if I had what's coming up next. Oh, yes, I do. So stay tuned for that, but they'll all be linked down there. So pick and choose whatever you like. Okay. I'm also very tired. That's also part of the life thing. So bear with me. The brain fog, I think it's still there from that virus that we all had several weeks ago, coupled with the perimenopause brain fog. I have no hope. There's no chance for me with the brain very much. So here we go. But that's why we have editing, right? So I can fill in the blanks, cut things out, and stop waffling. Let's start off with a sip of some caffeinated beverage this morning in my mug. Yes. Okay. Let's start off with finished objects. Let's start with the first ones. It's not the first one I finished, but actually, let's start off with my one and only crochet project this week. So as some of you know, I'm planning to go to the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival in Rhinebeck, New York, which is in less than a month from today. And my Aggie the sheep, watch out, naked sheep coming, you've been warned. Aggie needs a new Rhinebeck sweater for this year. Of course she does. Aggie has come with me to Rhinebeck since my first visit in 2023. I've also taken her to other places around the world with me. So I wanted to make her something. I have another idea in mind. Someone sent me a lovely pattern for a cardigan or sweater. So that's a knit version, which I will try. But I decided to grab some of my remnants of a hand spun and a crochet hook and just see what we could do. So I decided to make Aggie a granny square cardigan, and so here it is. So that's her cardigan, front and the back. She doesn't have a button or anything yet for the front, so I need to get her something to hold this. So I used this was my blend. I'll put the blend up here on the screen, leftover from a spin that I've done. And then I felt it needed a little more space, so I picked up some remnant mohair silk, this lace weight. So yeah, she's got a little silk mohair edging. So I just knit it and then cast it off. So nothing fancy there. So basically all I did was knit 2 granny squares and then fold them corner to corner to create this sleeve. So I just kept going around on the granny square until it was large enough that I could make a sleeve for her. So that's her little cardigan. I'm not going to try to put it back on her now because it'll take a while. But that's my first finished object and my only crocheted object for this episode. Up next, I finished my socks for September from the Farmer's Daughter Fibers Sock Squad subscription for September. So as a reminder, this was the artwork inspiration for this month. The color is called Lakeside Tea. It is on their Highwood sock base. I'll put the information up on the screen. And here is what the main skein, that Lakeside Tea looks like. And then I will show you the contrasting mini later because that's in my third finished object, but it's related to the color of this spot here on the artwork. So I made and I showed these before, I was making the little pumpkin socks, and so here they are. I have finished them and I blocked them, so hopefully you could see the pumpkins better, but I'll bring them in. So there's the little sort of stack of pumpkins on there. So I do have my 2 socks. And no, that's not my thumbnail. Don't do it, YouTube. So I knit these. They look a bit weird because I had to block them on larger sock blockers that are too large, but my mediums were too small. So I did mention last time that I made modifications. So this is a free pattern on Ravelry, so I will talk about what I've done with them. It is sized for a 64 stitch sock. It has a charted pattern. The chart is very easy. Actually, it has several charts. I'm not really sure why the first chart is there because it's just 2x2 ribbing across the top. But anyway, that's the way the designer's done it. The main chart is the one for the motif, and it's a very easy motif to memorize and to modify. So if you want to change the stitch gauge, you can easily do that by adding or taking away some of the knit stitches on the edges here. I added a couple, and you can also modify them here in the center. Let's see what else. Oh, I did talk about my unintentional design element. So in the pattern, you're to do this ribbed cuff here at the top for basically, I think it's to repeat 4 times. I think it's 5 rows. So 15 to 20 rounds of 2x2 ribbing. And then it has, you do this at the end or in between. My brain didn't catch that information. So I thought, wow, that's really weird. It's really short. We just go right into the pattern. Okay. And then I realized later, no, that was not correct, but I don't mind it because they're not very long socks anyway. But yeah, that's how they are. And then you get into this pattern. Now, the designer has written the pattern to repeat this for the back of the sock. I decided I didn't want to do it on the back. So instead of just doing stockinette, I thought I would just keep going with the ribbing. So that's what I did, at least all the way down through the back of the heel flap. I did not do the heel flap ribbing instructions as given in the pattern. I just stuck with the ribbing I already had established for the heel flap. I did knit the heel flap to the same length that I called for in the pattern. And then I followed the heel turn instructions in the pattern, the gusset pickup, and so on. But I just didn't modify to follow the heel flap. I just kept in the pattern. What else did I do? And so then on the foot, I just decided instead of trying to figure out how to keep the sole of the foot in the ribbing, I would just do that part in stockinette. And then I did a wedge toe for the end. It's not what's written in the pattern. I think in the pattern it has you just alternate continuously to get to the last few, and then you just pull it closed, I think is what it says in there. But I did just a regular wedge toe for my foot, and then did a Kitchener grafting on the end. So these are 68 stitches. I knit them on 2 circulars, and I did them at the same time. So for both of them, the back or bottom needle, or needle 2, whatever you want to call it, the one for the back of the leg was a US 1 or 2.25 millimeter needle. And then for the front, the only other needles I had that were, I think 16-inch circulars were my wood Luca needles, and they were 2.5, US 2.5 millimeter. I think that's US 2. Anyway, because instead of going up 1 needle size for this, because I wanted to make sure that this was roomy enough. The wood, I knit a little bit tighter on wood than the metal, so I figured that would work out fine, and it did. These are really squishy, comfortable. They're pretty easy to knit with. So it's an easy repeat. You have, I think, 16 rounds that create these alternating pumpkins. So y'all have one pumpkin that is made with ribbing, and then the one in the same row will have a, is that moss stitch or seed stitch? I can never remember which, where it's a knit, purl, and then you alternate on the next round. And then the next half of the pattern, so you do a cable, a simple 1/1 cross cable on each side. Well, no, it's not 1/1, 1/3. Yeah, so 4 stitches are worked, and then another 4 stitches are worked, and then you swap the pumpkin patterns. So I thought they were pretty cute. I thought it went pretty well. It's a sort of gourd colors with the greens and the shade for it being September. And I think they go pretty well with the artwork. Colors. So a finished pair of socks. I started these on September 1st, and I finished them on September 20, it was a couple of days ago, 22nd or 23rd. So I'm pretty happy that I finished these that quickly, a whole pair. I definitely find now that I have major second sock syndrome. I have to knit them at the same time, whether it's 2 at a time on the same needle, magic loop, or 2 concurrently. So working on one sock, going back to the other one, back and forth. I think it's also a good idea for me, because if I make a mistake or my tension changes, which it will from day to day or time to time, then at least they're going to be the same, fit the same. Because that kind of brings me to my 4th finished object, but I can't show it to you. And those are my Frosè Shorties. I don't think I finished them last time. I was almost finished, but I'll show a picture of them up here, because my sister is visiting from Minnesota, and last night we had try on some socks. She likes knitted socks, and of course I'm always knitting socks. I don't wear them very often, so she had to go with them, and I let her know that one of the socks is a little larger than the other. So unfortunately, this was my long period of time between knitting socks, and even when I was knitting the second one, I felt like it was looser or larger, and then I got to the point of doing my increases for the gusset, because they're toe up socks, that I got there much faster than my notes had said for the other sock, but I just went with it. And it definitely is slightly loose, which was a shame, because the first sock fit me perfectly. And then the second one, because there was so much time between knitting them, I don't know what happened, but it's definitely looser. Well, my sister loved that because she has an issue with one of her feet from a past surgery, and she liked that there was a looser one. So maybe I'll have to mark it for her so she knows which one to put on, or she can figure it out. She's an adult, but she loved those. She took a lot of my socks. Most of them were Nancy Wheeler's designs. A couple of them she would have taken more, but they were too small for her. So now I know which ones I can make for her in the future. I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm not really a gift knitter, but I seem to be like an accidental gift knitter. So what I mean is I don't intentionally knit something for someone else, not usually, very rarely. But something like these socks, I don't wear them that often. Now, there are a few I would not let her try on because They're mine and I want them. She couldn't have them. Although I had her try some on before just to see if she likes the fit and the style. But socks seem to work, and hats. But I don't tend to cast them on with the intention of giving them to anyone in particular. I'm just knitting it and figure, oh, well, if I don't use it, I can gift it. So that works really well for me in socks. And she's definitely sock knit worthy and hat knit worthy. So that's fine. I don't mind giving them to her. So that's it for all of my finished objects today. What else do I have? Let's do, I gotta slow down and take a break. I'm already wiped out. Okay, oh, how can that is not the end of my finished objects. I'm looking at one right next to me that I finished just before I sat down to record. And that is my September gnome as part of Shira from Imagined Landscapes Year of Gnomes knit along that she is hosting over on Ravelry and in Instagram. I was very kindly gifted the gnome pattern shown up here. I didn't ask the gifter if I could mention their name, so I'm not going to. But you know who you are, because I know you'll watch this at some point. So thank you very much for the pattern. And here is my September gnome, Nifty. I don't know if it, yeah, this side, even though my door is ugly over there. So this is Nifty. So I used the contrast color from the September Sock Squad. So that was the color that came with the yarn. So basically the cup were the colors for this month's inspiration. But I didn't really want to do any color or anything with them together. So I saved the this orangish tonal color and instead decided I would also use the leftover main color from some other time this year, also from the Sock Squad subscription. And the cream is a stash yarn that I've had forever and I just keep using it. It doesn't seem to go away. So this is Nifty. You do a little slip stitch pattern for the hat. You start with the brim and you actually knit the brim around and then make the hat. Tassel comes later. The massive nose, arms, and the feet. And he's super cute. It did feel sometimes like it was taking forever compared to the other gnomes, but still not that much. My modification for the pattern, and it is a paid for pattern, so I'm not going to give numbers or anything, is that in the pattern, the hat is done in garter. So all these little color ridges here would be in garter stitch. But I didn't like the way that it was looking for me. I'm not a big fan of garter, and I just felt like it looked sloppy with how I was knitting this. I don't know. I just didn't like it. And plus you're having to do that garter in the round. I don't know. I just didn't feel it. So I thought I really liked the look of it in stockinette. So that's what I did. So this is garter, but knit, again, you knit it in a strip and then you will sew it together and then pick up to knit. So I had started doing the purl. So I only ripped back to here and left that round and then just continued up. So there he is. Cutie, I'm not sure. He's got, the piano can't hold all my gnomes soon. I'm going to have to put them somewhere else. But he's adorable. I love him. And he's a pretty big fella. Now that was the last of my finished projects. Okay, I have to think now. I have to think. So hold on. I might have to pause. What do we have next? I do have notes. Maybe I should consult them. Works in progress. Oh, I didn't bring one of my works in progress, so let me go grab that. Okay, that took ages. I thought I've lost a project bag that contains a mostly knit sweater, but I found it. So this is my sweater project for the Woolly Thistles sweater knit along that's going on now, or make crochet along. You can also crochet. So I'm making the vanilla fluff. I talked about this before. I'm not going to go into all the yarns and colors. I'm just going to show you my progress. So I have finished everything except the sleeves because I've needed time to sit down, pick them up, and get that going, and it just hasn't worked out. So it's a bit crumpled from being in the bag. I did end up doing the ribbing, 2x2 ribbing. Did it? Yes, 2x2 ribbing here at the bottom. And, oh, I love the way these colors have worked out. I will say again, I am working with Rauma Garn. They're fennel held with plum in 2 different colors, but coordinating colors. And so I really like it. So again, I just need 2 sleeves. And I'm still thinking about whether or not I'll keep this neckline or I'll do a different one later. We'll see. But it's coming along and I should be finished hopefully in the next week or so. I have resumed working on, what's it called? I'll put it on the screen. Anyway, it's a cowl. It's a free pattern from a designer at the Darn It Anyway yarn shop located in Minnesota, but I shop with them online, obviously, because I'm a little far away to just pop over there. And this is what I have so far. I picked it up and I was trying to remember why I had it on stitch holders because I haven't worked on this since we were last in England in July. And then I remembered, oh, I took my needles off because I wanted to put this in the freezer when I got home because my brother-in-law occasionally has moth issues in his house. So I wanted to make sure I didn't bring any friends home with me or killed off anything that may be gestating inside my wool. So I am still on the first half. So these are still my main and contrast colors, but I picked it up and I'm pretty happily working away on it. I think I have a few more repeats before I will swap it over. And then the cream will be the background and the green will be the little pattern here. So making progress on this, which I better because I need to bring this to New York in 3 weeks. So I better get moving on it. It is worsted weight. I talked about the yarns before. I got them at, so here goes the braid again. In Ireland, the mill. They do a lot of tweed, Donegal tweeds and things. I'm gonna put it on the screen because again, the brain's gone. So these were the 2 colors I'm using of their yarns. So a natural color, and then this one has these little flecks and colorations in them and some vegetable matter. That is what I'm working on. So I picked that up and I'm very slowly working on it. But now that I don't have any other sort of mindless projects, I can resume this because this is a really easy project to work on. Okay, my next work in progress. I talked about last time, but it also involves a purchase. So I decided I was going to have some retail therapy, but not yarn, and got myself a redesigned bag. So here it is. I got this from the Farmer's Daughter Fibers. I purchased it from the Farmer's Daughter Fibers. And I was actually surprised that I chose this color. Normally I go for darker, but I really like the look of this. And I was trying to figure out from the pictures which size would work more for me. And it really helped. I love the way they had done it because they had items with the bags that helped me to visualize the sizes and what I would need. So I believe this is bag number 9 or design number 9. And it also reminds me of a sort of toiletry bag that my grandfather had. That I remember when we would go camping, he would have it. I don't know if it's since he was in the Navy during World War II, but it reminded me of that too. So it's kind of some nostalgia. So I love this bag. I was giddy when it arrived. And it came with a really big canvas tote that was in my closet or something somewhere. But I got this one, so this is number 9, because I figured I could either put in 2 sock projects, 2 other projects, or even a bigger sweater project and put some of the yarn in there. It does have little elastic places here. You can put needles or hooks, crochet hook type things, a zipper center, and then these little elastic pockets over here. I'm not currently using any of those, but I've put in a current work and my next upcoming one that I will share with you. Oh God, it smells so good. I love that smell of leather. All right, so my work in progress that I really want to spend some more time on, I had a really good start on it, but it requires concentration for the lace section, is the, sorry, I've got it half inside out now, is the Ooh La La top by Isabell Kraemer. It's the first one of Isabell's garment projects that I have cast on and knit. I own several of her patterns, but I haven't cast any of them on yet. I've heard really great things about her fit, that even though people say, you know, you see her in her pictures and her build, that she's really good at grading for all kinds of sizes. So, and her patterns are written well, clear, so I really love that. So here's what I have so far. It's coming up really interestingly in this light. I absolutely love the fabric that is being created with this yarn. So let's talk about the yarn first. I'm sure I did before. Let me grab it. Okay. So it's connected, but let me show you the second one. So this is from the Great Ocean Road mill located in Victoria, Australia. It is their summer fiesta, 70% merino, 30% linen. This is their fingering weight yarn. This is in rustic red, number 4. And I mentioned last time my friend Deb, I bought 2 of these in a blue. I think they're just called blue, or is it ocean blue? Some sort of blue name. And I gifted those to her last summer, and we're both knitting this pattern together and knitting it along for the Take Your Pick Cal, which is being run in the Ravelry group for Isabell Kraemer. So if you want to join in on that, you can knit any of her patterns. I think it's September to November. I know it starts in September. I can't remember the end date, but you can go there and check it out. So this yarn, so the red obviously is the merino wool, and then they use a linen. I believe they get it from Belgium, and it has this natural sort of straw beigey color, so it doesn't take up the dye. This mill doesn't do a lot of colored yarns. They're really known for their natural colors, especially alpaca, which is what they started with on their farm before they started to do their own milling. But they do occasionally do a few colored yarns that they have blended. So in this pattern, you start on the back and work some short rows to shape the back and the shoulders. And then you put that on hold. There are needles down here. Those are on hold. And then you, what do we do? Oh, we picked up along the back shoulder to start working the fronts and work the short rows there, put those on hold, work the other short rows on hold, and then cast on stitches in the middle, start the lace panel. So it is a pretty easy lace pattern. 8 rounds, I believe, or 8 rows at the moment. So we're still working flat because I haven't worked it long enough to join it to the back. At the moment, I'm thinking actually that based on the schematic, even for the size, I'm working size 3, but I expect to get a finished result somewhere between the size 2 and 3 based on my gauge swatch. I'm thinking that I'm actually going to knit this for another 1/2 inch longer, and then when I come back here before I join them in the round, I'm going to pick up yarn again and extend this another 1/2 inch. So I'm supposed to work to 6 inches on each of these, but that will leave a 12. Well, it's supposed to come out to a little over 13 inches for my size, but I probably won't get that size. But if I do anything 13 inches, no matter where it hits on my arm, that's going to have no ease. So I'm going to go up a size for that, just for the length on the body, hoping that I'll have a little more room in my arm. I don't plan on knitting the sleeve that's in the pattern. I'm just going to finish once I finish the armhole and not pick up and add anything else. I haven't figured out yet how I want to finish the armholes because they're going to be this knit. I could just leave it and let it roll. That would be okay, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to finish it. And if I do finish it, I'm not sure what's a good look for that. I guess it depends also on the neck option that I choose. And then there's also an option for how you want to finish the bottom hem in the pattern. But this fabric, so I think what I was talking about with the yarn is that it's this really thin, has really thin plies. It's really light fingering. And it feels a lot more, it doesn't feel super soft. You know, it's, I wouldn't say stringy. It's not super rough, but of course it's a merino and it has linen in it. But the fabric is so soft. It is so nice. I think they also do this in a 5-ply, which is getting up to the Sport DK weight. This would be, it's a great fabric for, especially if you live somewhere where you really want those transitional seasons. This still would be too warm for me, like this time of year, and outside it's just too humid, hot and humid. But the rest of the year, I should be able to wear this, except just not in summer. Not here, at least, and then travel. So I cannot wait to put this on because the fabric is just fantastic. It's looking very sort of shiny in my camera right now from the lights. I'm sure it's just my ring light that's doing it, but oh, it's fantastic. So it's not shiny and glossy. It has a more matte finish to it, but the feel is really, really nice. So I highly recommend that you get your hands on some of this yarn if you can. Okay. So that's one of my I think my more active work in progress at the moment. The come back again, I did finally finish that 3 inches of ribbing over all those stitches. And I did do, I think, just the first setup rows for the body. So at least now I'm back to the body, which is where I left off before. And I will also be focusing on that project once I can sit and have some time to myself to concentrate on that. So let's look at, what do I want to look at next? Oh, a kind of acquisition and a new cast on based on something I talked about last time. And then we'll talk about what I want to, so what I'm going to, excuse me, cast on next, or I think will be next as well. So I showed previously this lovely ball of yarn in their self-striping Aussie sock. And I was trying to think of what I was going to make. And I think I showed you this pattern that I wanted to make. And it's one of those patterns that I love the idea of it, but for me, it's really hit or miss. Like when I look at the Ravelry project pages, I either really like the look of the finished objects, or I think, oh no, that I absolutely do not like that. So I was fearful a bit of, is this really the right pattern for me? If I'm really going to feel that strongly, it's either this or no way. So I think a lot of it is the customization. Also on, I try to talk myself into, let's analyze and think, what is it about it? Is it something you can change? What is it you're worried about, right? Before you dive in. But my plan is to make that with this as the stripes at the top, but I want to definitely have it where that's not, like some people have done it really far down. I want to keep it quite high up, so probably even with my underarm height here, keep it really on a more shorter end and leave the rest of it more the plain. It is knit bottom up, so I will have control over that in terms of when I want to start working with this yarn. I'm not sure about the controlling the stripes and the yarn management, how that's going to work out. So that's going to be interesting to see how the repeats go in this yarn. I have swatched with the main color for the body. It's a bit, they're actually about the same thickness, but my gauge was a little, for the fabric I liked, my gauge was a little tighter. Yeah, it was definitely tighter by, I think, 1.5 to 2 stitches over those 4 inches of the swatch. So again, I'm going to size up. It's meant to be oversized, have a lot of like a big oversized relaxed tee. I didn't want quite as much that was in the suggested ease on the larger end. So I'm going to though to try to control some of the fabric in there. I think I'm going to knit a larger size for the bottom, and then I can adjust the top and bring it in as needed, and seeing how it's actually blocking out for the body before I start on the stripes. So let's look at that main color. So I had a coupon from, sorry, my bag, I'm losing my stuff. I had a coupon, no, not a coupon, a gift card from Purl Soho from my previous order for the Come Back Again cardigan. So I purchased some of their good wool, and they sent me a gift card, and it was going to expire at the end of this month. And so I had a look online and was trying to find out, well, instead of just grabbing some random yarns just to try it, let's see if we have a pattern. And they had this specific yarn. I didn't quite have, things weren't working out between the fiber content and the colors I wanted. They have a great range, I think. They don't have, for a specific size yarn, some of them they have a much wider range of fibers and colors. But for me to find that color fiber content that works really well for me, I was struggling a bit with some of that, or within the price range I wanted to spend. So I was trying to stay close to, okay, that amount of money could be a free hank of yarn, or free hank of yarn plus pay for the shipping, you know, and then just pay a little bit to try one of the other yarns for a project. So anyway, long story. I did decide finally on this, doing the tee I just mentioned, and trying it in their line weight. So this is yarn that I purchased from Purl Soho. So this is line weight. It is 494 yards per 100 grams. The gauge is 28 to 34 stitches and 4 inches, and recommended using US size 1 to 4 needles. It is made in Peru, and this is color 4010 Heather, also known as Red Plum. So I was trying to decide, which I'll show you the color together. I was trying to decide what would I want with this. So I grabbed a sweater that I had that was kind of this color, and a tote bag, and put it on top to say, well, which would I like? Because if I put it with cream, all the other colors are really going to stand out. If I put it with the darker color, then all the other colors will stand out, and this one kind of blends. I decided I liked the darker option, so I ordered this, and look at that match. You know, screen monitors, all I thought was, I think I want something in that color, that looks good, but if not, I would probably use that color anyway. So that's what I determined to get this one, because it really wasn't going to be a loss, because I would use this color, because I thought it was gorgeous. It is so, so soft. Did I say what the fiber was? I did not. I just said made in Peru. It does say on the front, doesn't it? Yes, 100% merino. So 100% merino. I think it's a single ply for a shirt, not normally for clothing, because it doesn't have that twist. It's going to pill. It's 100% merino, so it's going to pill. But it's a large, comfy, oversized shirt, and I thought, let's give it a try. But look at the colors. Like their good wool, it has a lot of depth of color to it. So it's not just a flat, saturated, solid color. It has these other colors in there, but the color's more like this. So those are going to be for the top. And so that I'm looking forward to casting on. I got so excited when it came in that I just swatched right away with it. And it's super nice to work with. It is lightweight fingering. It is, to me, it feels a little bit thinner than this one, but I didn't swatch with this. We'll see how this goes, and then I'll decide what I'm going to do for the top when I get there. Uh-oh. Okay, sorry for that changeover. The lighting's different. Things are different. I don't know where I was just a moment ago. That was hours ago for me, but my sister and brother-in-law showed up at the door, and so I had to stop for a bit. So now I've been outside too, so lighting's different. You might hear some pool noise. They're just outside my door here in the swimming pool. So anyway, I think the only thing I had left was I was going to share with you a sample that I got with that Purl Soho order. And it was a free sample on their June worsted base, which comes in as 32 yards and 200 grams. This is the color 5320 Goldfinch Yellow, so probably something more like this color back there. It is, as it says here, a organically grown cotton linen blend in worsted weight. Again, I'm not sure what to do with all these little samples that are worsted weight. I do like getting these samples. I love seeing different colors, especially, but to look at the yarn itself, I do wish, since I ordered fingering weight, I could get a fingering weight sample, so I knew what to order again next time in terms of a base. But it was free, and I appreciate the free sample. Anyway, my little pretty princess moment of not really complaining, just being suggested suggested comment. But I don't know, is that enough to make a washcloth? What can I do with this? Not really sure, but I got that as well. Okay, so I think that's it. Other than the new cast on that's planned, I also have this shawl that I'm thinking of casting on soon once I choose my yarn or decide on the yarn. I do want to make some more progress on some other things first and focus some time on that. But at the moment, I'm not able to do lace pattern or work on other things that require me to really concentrate. Now that my socks are done, maybe I should have a hat, something easy that I can knit on when I have visitors. So anyway, that is coming up. So I just wanted to be able to jump on here and chat with you all again this week. I'll get on to some life updates next. So if you are leaving me here, thank you so much for visiting with me this week, and I hope that you'll come by again and that you got some time to do some crafting while you were here with me. All right, why I'm very tired. Maybe nobody cares. I don't know. Very tired. Wow. No. Why I haven't been on for a while either is my husband had to fly over to London, England, Monday night to be there with the family as his father, who's 94. His health has declined rapidly since we saw him in July. And so he's now in palliative care at the hospital there. So we're not sure, of course, how long he'll be with us. I don't know when my husband's coming back. We did get him just a one-way ticket to say, just go and be there and you'll figure that out later to come back. So that's what he's done, although he has to come back. I am so taking care of the house, my job, take the kids to and from school, deal with all the things and the visitors right now. And I don't think I fully recovered my energy from having that virus. So I'm just tired. It's not new to me to be taking care of everything for several months at a time. I did that when the boys were when I was pregnant with them and when they're really little. But you know, I was in my late 30s then. I'm now in my early 50s, so I'm tired. But that's why I'm amazed I actually got the work done that I did on these projects. But I'm having trouble between the brain fog, the tired, and visitors, being able to make some other progress. But I know my visitors are with me for a short time and I'm happy they're here. So I just need to find something easy that I can work on while they're here with me. But that's really it for the updates. But I just want to explain why I've been a bit quiet. And yeah, so that's that. Everything else is going as normal, so I guess that's good. So that, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to sit with me. I hope it was time that you were able to spend crafting, spend some time for yourself, or at least you had some mild entertainment for a little bit. I really, really love being able to sit down here and chat with you. And please leave me comments in the comment area if you'd like to. Tell me what you're working on. What are you looking forward to in this new season, whether it's the fall or the spring where you are. We'll keep it on our positive level. I do try to at least give a like or a heart to comments. I do read them all. Sometimes they're hidden from me and I don't find them till later, but I'm sorry if it's taken a while. And I do respond, well, write to you if I can, as well as a comment respond, but I do at least read all of them. So please feel free to leave me a comment there. I don't usually say it, but of course you can like and subscribe if you want to come back, be notified when I'm back again. I know I've had some new subscribers coming on here lately. It's great that you found me. That's so wonderful. And I hope I will see you here again. So until then, take care. Bye.